Namaste and very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Dr. Michal Erlich. I'm Associate Professor and Associate Director at the Jindal India Institute and the coordinator for the MA India Study Program, which we all gathered here to hear about. We are delighted that you are here to explore this Master of Arts in India Studies, one of a kind, fully online program designed and delivered from India by some of India's leading scholars. The Jindal India Institute is part of OP Jindal Global University, which is ranked #1 in 2024 in the world online as #1 in world online programs, academic program by the Time Higher Education ranking. And it's also important to know that this program is only one program among 30 degrees. We have 8,000 students, online students, currently enrolled in Jindal University. We have 3,700 plus successful graduates from 130 different countries. So really, Jindal Global University is becoming a very high, creating new standards in digital learning. Now about our program. So, India is not a single story. It's many stories. And it has ancient and contemporary, sacred, and political, poetic, and even pragmatic. But, one of the most compelling metaphors used to describe India, mostly in religion and philosophy traditions, which I am from, this is what I teach, philosophical and religious traditions, is that of a great banyan tree. Now imagine this vast tree with roots growing downwards, each eventually becoming, its own trunk. Now from a close-up, when we walk through it, it might be seen as a forest. But when we take a step back, we realize that it's one living organism, interconnected, rooted into the same earth. Now India past and future, its ancient philosophy and contemporary political thought, its traditions of art and contemporary Bollywood culture are not separated, isolated entities, but a part of a larger whole. They might look distant, different languages, different practices, rituals, and worldviews, but they are often deeply intertwined. They share core myths, symbols, ideas, and philosophical insights, forming unity that is not uniform, but dynamic and plural. The Jindal India Institute MA program is our attempt, all of us, to map this forest in a way. While we cannot explore every root and every branch, we aim to walk through its diverse landscapes, tracing the common ground, while also appreciating the unique characteristics that make each part of India rich and distinct. So whether you're working as professional, curious learners, or someone with a long-standing interest in India, this program is designed to be flexible, intellectually rigorous, and deeply enriching. It invites you to study India, not just through textbooks, but through voices, experiences, ideas that merge from within India itself. You will hear now in the following session from our dean and faculty, get a sense of some of our courses, and even have a chance to interact and ask questions. I hope that you will discover here today something that will inspire you to take the next step on this journey. So let's begin. I'm very, very happy to introduce you to our dean, Dr. Sreeram Chaulia. Under his leadership and with the support of the founding vice chancellor of our university, of OP Jindal Global University, Professor Rajkumar, this program has come to life. Dr. Sreeram Chaulia, Professor Sreeram Chaulia is the Director General of the Jindal India Institute and the Professor Dean of the Jindal School of International Affairs at our university. He is a leading opinion columnist on world affairs of India newspapers, among them the Dainik Jagran and Hindustan Time. He's a commentator on international current issues on radio and television. He is the anchor of the Indian diplomacy TV show on India's national broadcast Doordarshan. He is author of 6 books. His latest one is titled Friends, India's Closest Strategic Partners. I invite him now to talk about the vision of the program, about its core idea and structures. Please, Professor Sreeram.
Thank you, Professor Erlich. Namaste, dear friends. I'm so happy to see you in this webinar. India Studies has been our dream for a long time. This university was established in 2009, but it took us a long time to conceive and to implement something so ambitious, so vast, so magnanimous like India Studies. So finally, it has come true, and we are launching this program. And I want to say something about the fact that in India, there are almost 1,300 or so universities, but nobody has offered India Studies at the master's level, that too in an online format for learners from all over the world like this. Mostly they have catered to their own domestic students, or sometimes they have foreign students, but mainly in science degrees, like in computer science, in medicine, in engineering. These are the things for which India is famous for or is known. Nursing and pharmacology and biotechnology. These are the degrees for which people come to India or learn from Indian universities. But we wanted to do something in humanities and social sciences, covering all aspects of India, and attracting not only our own Indian students who are curious to relearn or unlearn about their native country and to look at it in fresh light, but also international students. So our online degrees are very successful with a lot of international students because, as Professor Erlich was saying, we have outstanding faculty members who have vast experience, global experience, and of course, knowledge of grassroots issues and developments in India. So I think that is the biggest strength, and you would have seen the bios of our faculty members, and they speak for themselves. Let me say why you should think about doing India studies. There was a time when Asia meant mainly China, Japan, and Korea. In the Western, especially in Western countries, they always used to talk about East Asia because of the rise of China, especially, and Japan preceding China. So if you look at the last 50 years, Asia was always synonymous with China, Japan, and Korea. But now, with the construct of Indo-Pacific and India becoming a very central player, I am a scholar of international relations, so I tend to look at it as a development that comes from this shift from Asia-Pacific to Indo-Pacific, which has happened last 10, 15 years. And with the sharpening alignments and the rivalries in the world, what we call the new Cold War, India is becoming very, very central to or a decisive player in the final outcome of these contests. So the world politics or international politics, you cannot understand or even comprehend it without knowing what India's position is and what India's actions are. So, and it's the world's largest democracy, it's the world's fastest growing major economy, it's the world's only major rising power that is likely projected and predicted to become a great power or a superpower. It's the next superpower after the United States and China. So, in terms of business volumes, in terms of trade and commerce, in terms of investment, in terms of geopolitics, and in terms of shaping the global norm and normative order, in all these fields, India is becoming more prominent. So it's not enough to know just China, Korea, or Japan anymore. No matter where you are in the world, you need to understand India. And the more you understand India, the better your chances are that you are prepared for the rest of this century, in terms of your careers, in terms of your knowledge base, and in terms of work opportunities that will arise and increase because of India's growing share in the world economy and India's growing footprint in different regions of the world. So I think it's a very pragmatic decision. I welcome your interest in India studies. The more you know India, the better equipped you are for the coming decades. Now, in the India Institute, which is a think tank of our university that I head, we have a vision for what we call the Indian century. What we mean by that is in the year 2047, which is about 22 years from now, India will be celebrating 100 years of independence from British rule as a free country. So that's a major landmark centenary, 100 years of India's independence. And there are a lot of goals. The government in India has a goal for it to become a developed country. Right now, it is still considered what is called by World Bank classification a low middle income country with high growth, but it's still a low middle income country. So by 2047, it's supposed to become a high income country. 2047, it is supposed to become a leading power in the world, equal to China and the US, or maybe even ahead of China and the US. So what I'm saying is this centenary, the 100 years, this is the vision driving the Jindal India Institute, and which is why we are offering this MA in India Studies. All of you, whether you're Indians or international students who are enrolling in this master's degree, you are part of this journey of the Indian century. In some way or the other, you are enabling the rise of India as a major power center in the world. So we would like you to get a fair, balanced, and complete picture. Professor Ehrlich was talking about the forest, right? I mean, it's so dense and there are so many things in there. India is a vast, civilizational state. You will learn about its history from some of our best scholars. You will learn about the philosophy and spiritual traditions, yoga and bhakti and all those things. You will learn about contemporary things like the Indian democracy, its elections, and the fact that it has sustained democracy despite many skeptics saying that it will become a dictatorship since independence. So the miracle of Indian democracy, elections, 700 to 800 million people voting in free and fair elections. It has never been seen in the history of the world. So how is it that India is doing this? What is it in its ancient past that is also reflecting in its modern democratic trajectory? Those sort of things you will learn. You will learn about the economy, about doing business in India, why it has become such a big opportunity for the world. Why is it that everyone wants to be friends with India? And you learn about India's foreign policy. How is it navigating the clash between China and the US? Is it somewhere in between, or is it towards the US and against China? These are some of the big questions you're going to be learning in one of the courses of this degree program. You will also be learning about things like Indian society, religion, caste, social stratification, and also social empowerment and uplift that is happening. These sort of things are very fundamental. Culture, arts, music, cinema, anything and everything about this country we have tried to pack into one degree program. And it is more than like an area studies degree. What it is giving you is full 360 degrees view, and the option of even coming here in person to our campus, maybe in the final trimester. We would like to keep it open for you. So even though you are online students and learning about India from distant parts, experiencing India is also very important to get a fuller, comprehension of this very vast and complex nation. So we have thought through this pedagogically. We have structured it in a unique way. You will not find a curriculum like this on India studies or South Asia studies or Asian studies anywhere in the world. They mostly cater to one or two disciplines. We have tried to cover like maybe 8 or 9 disciplines: science and technology, environmental issues in India, gender issues in India, and so many other things. So theater and cinema, they've become hugely successful worldwide. So you may be curious about one aspect of it or two aspects, but this degree will take you out of your core comfort zone and make you learn about the full thing, because one is linked to the other. If you don't know how Indian society has evolved until today, you will not understand its cinema and theater. The two are linked. You can't just do only theater and cinema and not learn about the society. If you don't know the philosophical traditions and the spiritual basis of this nation going back millennia, you will not be able to understand how it is a democracy today or what is driving its politics today. So I would recommend that you all pay serious attention to this degree, enroll in it, and 12 months, it is just going to fly past you. 12 months, it's a very short degree program. It's the first time that Jindal University, by virtue of being an institution of eminence, is offering master's degrees which are just 1 year in duration. Earlier, we used to have 2-year degrees. Even our online degrees used to be 2 years. But now we brought it down to 1 year. So, it's compact, intense, but you can also enjoy it so much because our professors are outstanding. You're not only going to have pre-recorded videos, but also live sessions where you will directly interact with professors. Sometimes the professors will bring other experts to engage with you in particular weeks during the live sessions. So I think this is a comprehensive learning opportunity that we have created for you. Grab it, and we welcome your applications. And we're looking forward to seeing you in the classroom starting May 1st. It's close by. So hurry up, and we are here to help you and assist you in the admissions process. Happy learning, friends, and God bless you all. And India welcomes you.
Thank you so much, Professor Sreeram. And he has mentioned several very important points. The program is built in a way that even though it's remote, half of it is pre-recorded, so you can listen to it in your own convenient time. And another half is live sessions. And we created it also in a way that while on the recorded classes, you will hear about secondary literature, like about something, but in the live classes, you will engage with primary materials, with text, and you will read them together or look at them if it's cinema, but you will really engage with materials so you can later create your own vocabulary and your own knowledge about India. So it's really oriented to give you the ability to think about India later. And we already have a great cohort. We have people registered from around the world for the first batch. We have diplomats, we have scholars, we have practitioners of dance. So it's a very vibrant first round of cohort, and we really welcome you to join us. I will introduce next Dr. Archana Rath, Professor Archana Rath, who is a political scientist, a fellow at the Jindal India Institute, and a professor at the Jindal School of International Affairs. She has a PhD from the University of Delhi, where her research attempts to address the absence of political theory around the concept of child citizenship. She has taught courses. Her courses are really sorted after. We are very happy that she joined us from the Foundation of Indian Politics, Understanding Political Theory, Global Politics, Politics of Globalization, and Public Policy in India, among others. She will be teaching the course for our program, Understanding the World's Largest Democracy, India's Domestic Politics Since Independence, and I'm warmly welcoming her to tell us about her course.
Hello. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everyone, depending on where you're logging in from. Thank you for the very warm welcome, Michal, and thank you for your lovely words of introduction also, Dean Chaulia. So I'm a political scientist, and I mostly teach courses on politics and specifically on Indian politics. At GII, which is the Jindal India Institute's MA India Studies program, as Michal just pointed out, I'll be teaching the course called Understanding the World's Largest Democracy, India's Domestic Politics Since Independence. So this course will be engaging with aspects that have shaped India's politics. So questions that will be engaged with through the course would be something like these. How did the modern democratic state emerge in India? Who are the main political leaders? Who are the key political players, the main parties, and what does coalition politics mean? We'll also be looking at things like the role of fundamental rights and how this sort of differs from directive principles in the context of the Indian Constitution. We will be looking at the Indian Parliament. So what do the upper and lower houses of the Parliament do, and the role of the executive, the role of the Indian cabinet. These are some of the questions that the course will be engaging with, and we will be doing this alongside an analysis of the balance of power between the parliament and the judiciary and the idea of judicial independence. The course will be sort of designed and has been designed to help us understand the politics of representation. And here we will also examine recent national elections and the performance of the political parties in the elections. As we go along, we'll also be looking at federalism and how the division of power plays out between the union and the state, examples related to federalism in India, as well as an analysis of conflict as well as cooperation in Indian federalism, giving both sides of the story. Now, politics of caste is yet another area that is important for Indian politics. And here we will see how the politics of caste has changed across decades, the role of caste in Indian elections, and we'll also look at caste representation and how that plays a role in democratization of Indian politics. We'll also try to understand the role of women leaders in politics by analyzing some debates around women politicians who belong to political dynasties and then those who don't, what that looks like, women's leadership in politics, and discuss recent legislation that has been passed on women's reservation, debates around that as well. We'll also be exploring secularism in the Indian Constitution and analyze contemporary discourses around secularism. And lastly, we'll also be looking at rights in India as a whole and in the context of citizenship in the Indian context. So by the time the course concludes, you'll have a fairly good understanding about the institutions and the ideas that make Indian democracy unique, and learn to critically engage with various aspects of politics. The key is to provide a balanced perspective, all sides of the story, so that by the end of the course, you learn to formulate your own opinions through informed readings, intensive discussions, and so on. So I would like to conclude by saying I hope that many of you join the MA India Studies program, and I look forward to seeing you in my course. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor. It's very important to understand, and I think, as you know, both of you have demonstrated, our dean and Professor Archana, that things are interconnected. It's really hard to understand just one thing about a civilization like India. I myself an Israeli. I have studied India for the last 20 years, languages, old languages, contemporary languages, vernaculars, and I have did, classical training as an Indologist, reading the old text, and then I moved to anthropology, studying lived religion. And I could not even understand lived religion without understanding the politics of India, and without understanding the major movements of colonialism and what happens during partition. How can I understand migrations? People who live in Delhi but are migrants or second or third generation of migrants to Delhi because of partitions. And how does it affect the religiosity or castes or gender issues? So in the program, we are really trying, it doesn't matter from which standpoint you come, whether it's the political standpoints, the religious one, we're trying to cover you from all sides. So whatever stand you will take, you will have a very broad and deep understanding of your topic of interest. And I think our next professor, Sugandha Nagpal, will really also demonstrate that, because I will introduce her now. Thank you for joining us. She holds a PhD in international development from the University of East Anglia in Norwich, UK. Her research work focuses on issues of migrations, gender, education, urbanization, and development. Her PhD dissertation explores the gender dynamic of middle-class culture in Dalit communities in Punjab. In her previous work, she has investigated questions of land acquisitions and development, maternal health, and mobile technology and sex selection in Indo-Canadian communities. You can really see how everything comes into being. More recently, she has conducted more interdisciplinary and applied research on mobility and resilience in rural communities. One of her current projects focuses on internal migrants' aspiration for education and employment in Haryana. Our university is located in the state of Haryana in India. In her other project, she is working with mental health practitioners, educators, and community partners across Kenya, UK, India, to develop and implant a family-based approach to mental well-being. She will be teaching the course for our program, Understanding Gender, Caste, and Social Justice in Contemporary India, a Sociologic Perspective. So I'm welcoming her to her own course.
Thank you, Michal, for that very, very kind introduction. And welcome everybody to this session. So as Michal was mentioning, I'm an anthropologist by training. I work on issues of international migration. A lot of my work has been focused on Punjab and specifically looking at the gender and class dynamics of international migration, as well as I've done a bunch of other projects related to mental well-being. And the thing that I'm trying to really do with this course, as was something Michal and Dr. Chaulia were also mentioning, was this idea of repositioning and understanding Indian reality from the ground up. This is something that is also, the objective of the program, understanding India on its own terms. As an anthropologist, that is what one does when you go into the field. In fact, my PhD research was looking at a lower caste Dalit community in rural Punjab. One of the great learnings I got from that experience was that all the things I read about caste prior to going into the field, completely fell apart and changed once I was there. And I realized that, listening to people's narratives and stories is a very, very productive and useful starting point to understand what is happening in a particular context. And that's the kind of framework that I want to bring to you with the particular course on gender, caste, and social justice in contemporary India from a sociological perspective. I want to be able to use the toolkit that anthropology provides to deconstruct a lot of the mainstream understandings that we have about these issues that largely come from international development paradigm and that percolates, all the things we hear and see a lot about developing countries. And deconstructing some of those ideas through an anthropological framework where you use people's, how people think about issues, what they're really saying, what are the narratives from the field, and what does that lead us to? And a lot of it will be, exploring and asking new questions. So it's not a course that's about providing easy, neat answers. Rather, it's about complicating, making the picture messier and saying, okay, where do we go from here? And I really hope you will join us on this journey to take you through the contemporary historical reality of India, which, as was pointed out by everyone, is very complex, messy, and something that's unfolding all the time. And I think with my course, I'm asking you to embrace that fluidity and really use it in a productive way. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that we are saying it, but maybe it should be more, emphasized that India in its own term is not something which, it's not just a slogan. That's what I want to say. Because India studies for many years have been conducted by other universities outside of India. And many of us, and I think the Dean and the Vice Chancellor, Professor Rajkumar, have felt that it's really a time that India will speak in its own voice about itself and not through others. And this is something, and coming from the ground, understanding the perspective of what's going on now in India, even if it's built on a ancient civilization, it's of a big and important effort and significant for understanding India from within India in its own terms. And this is something I think all of our courses is dedicated for. And it's important also to know that there will be an option to do a dissertation for those of you who wish to do it. And we have created a special course for those that in the last term would like to go through the adventure of writing a short, small dissertation and really to take all their knowledge that they've gained and put it into a new knowledge, creating their own knowledge. But for those who are less into it, they can choose to take electives and do it in a different way. So we have those two options in our one-year course because we really hope to give you also throughout the year, you will get lots of tools for reading and writing and engaging academically. We're trying to make this really an open space for you. Sometimes academic sounds terrifying, that it's something that, someone knows and I would never. So we are really trying also to create this kind of a platform of how to engage academically with knowledge. I'm really welcoming now questions, if someone has. I saw one, right? About age limit, there is no age limit. Anyone with a BA can enroll in the program. We welcome anyone to join us. And also there was a request for someone to share experience about studying online. We don't have someone who studied the India program, but we do have someone who graduated. So if it's okay, I will welcome Raghav Dao, who is also. Hey, Raghav, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, Michal.
Can you introduce yourself, which will be also great, and also tell us about your experience?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Raghav. I'm also the faculty co-coordinator along with Professor Michal for the India Studies program. I'm a lecturer at the Jindal India Institute, and I'm a graduate of the MA International Relations, Security and Strategy program offered by the Jindal Global University in the online mode. The overall experience, I've been associated with Jindal for almost 3 years now, and I began as a aspirant for the Indian Foreign Service who wanted to get an IR degree, which is quite a rarity if you know about the Indian Foreign Service. And once I entered the program, and my path completely changed. That was entirely because of the amazing support provided by Jindal. So we had, amazing faculty members ranging from diplomats, academics, even established writers, poets. This is from liberal arts and humanities, from law, from psychology, philosophy, and almost 15 different schools and institutes at Jindal. Even if you're part of one institute, you have the entire university at your disposal. So as a student, an online student, I engaged throughout with different disciplines and faculties. And somebody who wanted to be a diplomat, and ended up choosing academics. And, it was partly shaped by the International Relations, Security and Strategy program. But what perhaps is completely, again, unique about Jindal is that the online programs by the Jindal Global University are ranked #1 in the world now. And the faculty support is amazing. I would be on a Saturday, I would mail a faculty, the faculty would reply in an hour, and we would meet, over Zoom, have, perhaps an hour long, even 2 hour long chats, discussing everything from strategy, from philosophy, from Indian politics, and, everything in between that you want to understand about a subject. So as an online student, you would experience a blend of synchronous and asynchronous learning. You would go through recorded videos, lectures, which you can do at your own pace. Most of my learning happened around 1 or 2 a.m. because I like to study at that time. But that is not where the university support is limited to. As a student, you reach out to any faculty member, any staff, and you would get all the support you need. You will be in this program, particularly, you will also be engaging with primary materials. So usually at a master's level, you study journal articles, you study books. But here what we have introduced is we would be engaging with the primary texts and speeches, primary reading material that give a direct insight into India. So for example, if you're studying Mahatma Gandhi, you would be reading, a text by Mahatma Gandhi, or maybe a speech by Mahatma Gandhi. And you would be engaging, for example, with Professor Archana on how his thought influences Indian politics, or with Professor Michal, how his thought brings together traditions of Jainism, the Bhagavad Gita, and whatnot in from Indian spirituality. So you would gain different perspectives on similar topics. You would be able to approach a topic from multiple dimensions. And yes, it will give you a wonderful introduction to India. And after 1 year, and maybe you would like to pursue a PhD in India studies or South Asian studies, or maybe you want to do a business in India. This is the perfect platform. JG Online is the perfect platform to learn anything from IR to India studies. And as a team, we're all here to support you. Thank you, Michal.
Thank you so much, Raghav. I think it's a great example of online teaching. and just some questions that pop up. Usually the live teaching will be during the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, every 2 weeks. So it should be very comfortable for people who work during the week. So during the week, you can watch on your own time the pre-recorded, and then once in 2 weeks, in the weekends, you will be engaged in the live sessions. And also if you want to taste, I have to say that we really chose each one of the people for recording our courses. We have a beautiful collection of people and very inspiring lectures. So I'm sure anyone who will enroll will really enjoy the pre-recorded classes. But there are short samples on the YouTube that people can watch about the introductions to the different courses. And if someone needs something more particular, he can approach Raghav, Vanchika, or Kanak, the coordinators, to get a peep, maybe, if possible, a glimpse into a recording. So this is also possible if there is questions on that.
I'd like to also come in on one question about careers. So Darshan has asked a question in the chat box, in the Q&A box. Beyond the general detailed understanding of India, what are the prospects of doing this degree program? So I have actually listed in my answer, if you can see, a number of fields, different types of institutions and organizations and sectors in which this degree could be really handy to find full-time positions. Or if you're already in a full-time position but want to make a career shift, you could also do it through this degree program. Please have a look. I've mentioned diplomatic missions. I've mentioned news media. I mentioned think tanks. I mentioned private companies and corporations. I've mentioned international organizations. And there's so many others. If you want to do a PhD in something related to India, maybe after the masters, again, this is the pathway. There's so many other, I mean, I didn't even mention the academic research and all that, but there are others, we can list. And I think we have mentioned that also in the India Studies brochure. So we will be happy to advise you about careers. Our professors write amazing letters of recommendation for students. And I've seen so many of them, the alumni, shining because they've got the best recommendations from our professors, and they matter a lot for employers. So Professor Erlich mentioned already, we have a very high ranking in the online degrees space. Times Higher Education ranks Jindal #1 in the world for online degrees. It's not just #1 in India. So, and the reason for that is, our alumni who undergo the online degrees not only have a high level of learning and satisfaction and fulfillment intellectually, but are also able to leverage these degrees to go forward in their desired career pathways. So we are going to be happy to advise you once you enroll based on your specific interests as to what you can do after the masters, and our recommendations and our connections with employers will be really, really significant in helping shape your careers.
Concerns about time difference for live sessions. We have tried to create all live sessions in our afternoon, like today. It's a question that popped in the Zoom, in the chat. So like today, we tried to push everything into the afternoons of India. So it's almost convenient for everyone, almost like now. Those are the those will be the timings of the live sections. And
it can also be recorded. So in case you missed a live session, you can also watch it, right, Michal?
Yes, but we really encourage it. It needs to be told in advance. It needs to be explained. Like, we really encourage people. We believe, and maybe I will clarify it for the audience, that learning happens through a dialogue, and dialogue is very important for creating knowledge, not just gaining knowledge passively. So we really try to create interesting and enriching live sessions, which the students are encouraged to participate in. But if someone has a specific problem, cannot attend, he can write in advance and we can accommodate it, of course. Yes. Are there more questions? Let me see. Someone is raising hands. So just unmute. Can they unmute themselves? Manuel, maybe I'm pronouncing it right. Emmanuel, you want to speak? I hope you can.
Yes. If you like, Manuel, you can speak now.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me? My name is Emmanuel Mushi from United Republic of Tanzania. I'm here as a clinician and founder of Newborn Thermal Control, which works on producing cheap infant warming system for helping keeping the baby warm at primary health care facilities. I have only one question. Do we offer, do we intended to offer undergraduate degree or only master's and PhD?
Sorry, you.
Emmanuel, it's good to hear from you, my friend. We love Africa, and you know, India is very close to Africa, especially to your country, Tanzania. We have a long connection. This is a master's degree. There is no undergraduate degree that is taught online in Jindal. We only do online degrees at the master's level. So if you've already finished a bachelor's in any degree, in any field, you're eligible for this master's. But if you have not yet completed a bachelor's degree, you will not be eligible for the master's as per the Indian regulatory requirement.
Okay, thank you very much.
So if there are more questions or if anyone would like to add anything, maybe Professor
There is a
Arch.
question from
Yes.
Nanha about the size of the cohort of the
Okay.
cohort. We expect it to be 20 to 25 students, outstanding students from different countries, as Professor Erlich was saying. And you know, it will be a tight-knit group, and there is a method by which you can all, it's like a community that is going to be created, and you can learn from each other also. So this is the advantage of online degrees, where the cohort knows everybody, who's all the fellow students, and you can really you know, benefit from the professional as well as the experiential learnings of your peers or your classmates. Okay, we have a hand up now.
Yes, Lakshmi Narayan, you can.
Narayan, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening, all the esteemed faculty members. Just one question, sir. Whether, suppose the degree that we will get at the end of the program, will it mention it's online MA or it's how will that look like, the degree? Thank you.
Raghav, you want to respond to that, please?
Yes, sure, sir. The degree will not mention online on the front page, but at the back, so it's a UGC, University Grants Commission of India rule that they mention the mode of learning, but it's the same for regular degrees as well as online degrees. In an online degree, it would be written that you did your program online, but on the face of it, the degree is the same as a regular degree.
Yeah, so the transcript will have it mention the mode of learning somewhere, but it will not, the title of the degree is not going to be called online MA. It will simply be called MA in India Studies. That is the title of the degree, and that will reflect in your CV and in your resumes.
Okay, sir. That was my concern. Thank you, sir.
Also, just adding one more thing, it's also like a established norm and rule now that online MAs and regular MAs are considered on par, both in India and abroad. So that won't be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, there was a time when, before the pandemic, before 2020, people used to think that the online is inferior to the real degree, the real learning in the classroom. Even we as a professors, the academics, we used to think that online is somehow not up to the same standards as the real learning. But now, the online is real, and online is so big. And like I said, Jindal is #1 in the world now in online degrees, and we are doing it very successfully. We are likely to have more students in online degrees than even on campus physically in our campus in Sonipat in North India. in years to come. So I'll give you one example. The School of International Affairs, which I had, now we have 780 students, 780, out of whom almost 40%, more than 300, are actually online degree students. Only about 400 are here on campus in our university in physical mode. And the degrees that we are awarding are very competitive, whether it is online or in person. So please don't hesitate to worry about that aspect, and be assured that the India studies will actually take you very far.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. More questions, inquiries? That's the time. Just write or just open your mic.
Professor
think-
Sreeram, I think you're on mute.
Oh,
There's some
sorry. Yeah, Jürgen, I think if I'm pronouncing the name right, Jürgen Schmierer. You have a diploma engineer degree and a German master's, but not a bachelor's. I don't know. We have to actually look up the German education system. We are not so familiar, because we were under the British colonial rule. We are more closer to the British and the American models. So we will check this, please. You don't have a bachelor's degree, but you have a degree which is called something else. So most likely, you already have a master's, you're saying. So I think you will be eligible. If you already have a previous master's, that's even more of a qualification than having a bachelor's. I think you will be eligible, but I will ask my staff to please get back to you on this matter. Could you please make a note of this,
Sure, sir.
Kanak, Vanshika, and Raghav?
Sure, sir.
And you want to answer about the fees? Raghav?
Kanak or Vanshika, you want to come in,
Yeah.
please?
Raghav is typing the answer, sir. The program fees is 250,000 for the entire year.
Maybe we can a bit translate it for those who doesn't understand lakhs. I remember the first time that lakhs is not very common for everyone.
It's 250,000 Indian rupees, which I think the current exchange rate is just about 3,000 US dollars, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, sir, around that.
It's
Even a
around
bit less.
3,000 US. It keeps fluctuating with the
Yeah.
Trump tariffs, and the dollar has suddenly weakened, and there's a lot of upheaval going on in the currency markets right now. But I think as of now, it will be around 3,000 US for the entire master's degree. And I can tell you, friends, that there is no degree program, with this kind of quality and this kind of career support and this kind of peer support that we do, which is priced at this tuition. And unlike our on-campus students, there is no hostel fee or any other incidental fee. So this is the only thing. So it will be around 3,000 US and spread out over a 12-month period. So I think by global standards or even by Indian standards, it's highly affordable and worth your investment. And more than the money, I must say, the time and energy and the intellect that you're going to invest in this, it's really worth all these investments.
Thank you. And again, about the pre-recorded videos, if someone has an inquiry and wants to see a glimpse into it, please write to our coordinators privately and we will assist you with it, if this is something which is important for you.
There's one query by Renu about can that fee be paid in installments? Vanshika or Kanak, can you come in please on this matter?
Yeah, yes. So you can pay the fees there are different packages for installments. When you take the admission, you have to pay 50,000 rupees. And after that, you can pay it in installments. Once you're in touch with our admissions team, they can guide you of the kind of packages that the university offers, in which you can, divide the 2.5 lakh rupees and pay the fee. That's definitely possible.
You're on mute.
So you're on.
Yes, sir. Professor Sreeram, you're on mute.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was just going to add that it doesn't have to be a lump sum payment of the entire tuition fee right at the outset, like May 1st. before May 1st, you don't have to necessarily pay the entire tuition fee. It can be broken into smaller chunks. Yeah.
So I'll just add to that. So you, as Kanak mentioned, you're paying 50,000 when you get admitted. The first, first round of payment, that is about 100,000 Indian rupees. That is due in the month of May, somewhere around mid-May, and then the next 100,000 is due in November, mid-November again. But if you want a payment plan, the finance team can assist you with that. So that payment, about 200,000 rupees can be divided over 12 months, if you also like that.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any more inquiries?
I just want to also inform the students, like I said at the outset, online students sometimes want the India experience or want our campus experience. So that is something we will be willing to create for you, especially in the final trimester, which means, which months will those be, Michal? The final trimester will be?
That would be already 2020.
February, March, and April.
February, March, and April of 2026. So if you are interested and you would like to come and see the campus, be here and learn from here also, and parallelly do some research, meet professors, pursue your core interests in a more advanced way, write your dissertation. If you want to write dissertation, do some field work and run some surveys or research here, we can facilitate. For Indian students, it's very easy to just come to Sonipat and be near our campus or inside our campus. For international students, we will write letters so that you can get a visa, travel visa to come and spend some time here. So that is, like I said, the experiential. Some people argue that India is really an experiential thing. It cannot be learned from books alone. So I would like to place that as an additional, it's an option only if you want it. And we will be certainly happy to facilitate something like that.
I would also like to add something, sir. So as sir mentioned about internships, so we also have certain research projects going on at the Jindal India Institute. So once you enroll with us for the course, we can look forward to different prospects to engage you with our research projects. So you will get the opportunity to work under different professors, and you can also work on topics not the ones that are included in the course, but also separate topics apart from what is being taught in India studies. So you will get a full-fledged umbrella of different courses and different topics that you can work on. So that is also possible. I'll share the website link in the chat for all of you to go through the research projects so that you get a good idea about the same.
Also, if I can just add to that. So, for example, I currently have a project funded through York University, which is looking at narratives of young people trying to migrate, then try and understand more about the decision-making dynamics. So, a number of professors will have active projects. We're looking for research assistants all the time. So if you are interested in a particular area of research, so for me, it would be, migration, gender, and similarly for other people, it'll be different areas. You can always reach out and see if there is a project that we are, involved with if we're looking for help. So that is something that happens very frequently because all of us do have active research projects that we're working on.
And also, it's important to say, thank you so much for that, Vanshika and Sugandha, that in a way, all of our campus is India studies. We have people for so many disciplines, so many schools, all of them are working on different aspects of India. Now, those of you, for example, who would choose to do the seminar, the dissertation track, you don't have to do it with one of us. We will guide you through it, but you can connect with any professor on campus who is doing something in the lines that you're interested in and do your dissertation under them with our guidance. So in a way, it opens to you, the university is of a huge variety of scholars that works on all kinds of topics you can just imagine regarding India. So you will have access to all of that. Last thoughts? questions?
So here we have Nanhao, seems to be a very serious learner. He's already asking about access to digital, our journal base and the ebooks base. Yes, Nanhao, you will be able to use those, and we will guide you once you enroll in the program. Our online students do have this privilege. It's not just JSTOR or a ProQuest or a few of these databases. We got so many. Cambridge University Press, Oxford University Press, all the major, academic sources. So we have a wide set of subscriptions. If you go to our library website, yeah, library.jgu.edu.in, can I request somebody from the team to share the link to our library catalog? You can browse through them and you can see how many electronic learning resources they have. And as a student of this university, whether you are on campus or online, you will be able to access them.
Thank you. So I think we will conclude with that. It's very important to say that we are here. If you have questions, if you wanted to ask something, but for some reason you didn't, we are extremely available. We are available in the emails. Some of you have already interacted with us, so we can continue these interactions, but anyone who wants to ask additional questions, you are very welcome. And we are very excited about this program. We have worked really hard on it, on every small details of it. And we really, want to bring knowledge with open hands to you. And maybe also important to say that it's really built in a way that even if you have no knowledge of India, you can enroll, and it starts from the basics. So it's really, we are looking out to the world and we want to share knowledge. And we will conclude with that. Professor Sreeram, do you want to say a word before we close this session?
Yes, dear students, this is the time, you are like placing a big bet on a country that is becoming more and more significant in the world. So you need to be strategic and think about 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line, whichever country you belong to, you will be dealing with India one way or the other. And if you have equipped yourself with the knowledge and the resources and the right kind of pedagogy and learning, then you will be in a stronger position to navigate the world as it is changing so rapidly. So in a time of great flux, the rise of India is one of the biggest stories, and you are going to be, the riding that tide, because like a rising tide. And I hope that you will all enjoy this voyage and this journey. And we look forward to welcoming you in the program. All the very best, and see you in the classrooms.